In this lesson, we're going to look at a first attempt at validating an email address using a regular expression. We're going to work this example in PHP, and notice I said a first attempt. We're going to continually refine this regular expression as we work through the course. To properly validate an email address takes quite a bit of effort when writing a regular expression. So we're going to break it down into parts. So here we're going to begin by just showing the simplest regular expression you can write to validate an email address. For this example, I have two documents. I have a HTML document that's a form where the user is going to enter a email address, and then I have a PHP file that handles the form. So let me start off by first showing you the form itself. So I'll open it with Notepad, and I have some very basic HTML here. So primarily we have a form that asks the user to enter their name and their email address. And then that form, when we submit, will send its data to handle form PHP. So let's take a look at that form next. That's where all of our work is done. So let's just scroll down to the most important part where we get the name and the email address from the form. We're going to write the pattern in just a moment, and then we're going to check the pattern against the email address using the preg_match function, which we used before in the last chapter when we did an example using PHP. And then we'll simply tell them thank you if we got their email address, and if the email address doesn't work, we'll simply echo a message saying the email address is invalid. The pattern that we're going to use, the regular expression we're going to write, will look like this. I'm going to introduce a new metacharacter \s, which represents a non-space character, with the plus sign, which means one or more non-space characters, followed by the @ sign, followed by another set of non-space characters, followed by a question mark to anchor the pattern. Then we close it off with our closing slash. Remember that we're not in grep, so we have to use a slash to open and a slash to close the regular expression that we're going to write. Put a semicolon in there to finish the line. So that should be all we need. So let's save. And we'll minimize. Let's load, and some of that may not have come up on the screen. Let's load a web browser. We're running these through localhost, so we're going to do localhost form.html. Here's our form. So I'll put my name in and my email address, and I'll click the button. And so McMillan@pulaskitech.edu matched our regular expression. If I change it, taking out the @ sign and replacing it with the word @ and submit again, notice now it tells me your email address McMillan@pulaskitech.edu is invalid. So let's go back and look at the pattern again very quickly. I won't highlight it, a little bit easier to see. And again, this is the simplest that you can enter. And really all we're doing is looking for something before the @ sign and something after the @ sign, which is not adequate to truly validate an email address. But it's a good start. Later on in the course, in different lessons throughout, we will improve on this regular expression quite a bit to really be able to test for all sorts of different things, including the proper domains and to make sure that there's a dot before a top-level domain, things like that. But for now, we'll go ahead and wrap up this lesson, and we'll move on to the next lesson where we're going to look at another example in another language.